My name is Dr. Wes Pirzada. The inspiring stories that we heard from people with type 1 diabetes, the junior doctor they mentioned, I am that junior doctor. My association with IDR has been from 2015, right from its inception. So I have been there almost for 7 years now. And I worked as a medical SRF, then did my PhD last year. Following that, I was awarded Ellen Rash Fellowship in Australia. So I completed my Ellen Rash Fellowship in April this year. And because of that fellowship, as you are aware that Life for a Child program is going on in SKIMS, which provides free glucometers, free insulin strips, and also free insulin now, long-acting insulin Basaglar, which is also a part of that fellowship. And today I'm going to talk about a concept which is actually something new to, it was new to me, and I'm sure it would be new to most of us. I will be talking in English because this particular talk is particularly for doctors. I have been talking about this concept to patients as well on every Thursdays in the regional languages. So what is this program? It is called as Individualized Insulin Management using SWIM card. So SWIM stands for Success with Individualized Insulin Management. It's a concept of John Hunter Children's Hospital, Newcastle, Australia. They call their program SWIM. It was made by Professor Bruce King, who is the head of the Department of Pediatric Endocrinology, and his team. Why this SWIM concept is important? Because the mean HbA1c of John Hunter Children's Hospital is 7%, which is one of the best in Australia, rather one of the best in the world. The SWIM program centers around a flexible insulin regime, which with individualized dosing cards, regular adjustments of insulin doses to maintain blood glucose level in the normal range, and emphasis on routine daily structure. So what we are doing, we are implementing the same program in our population. So this SWIM, it consists of many ideas. I will not be discussing all the ideas. I will be just focusing on SWIM cards or insulin cards and how to adjust the dose of insulin using a SWIM card. So as you know that everyone is doing blood glucose monitoring, which is provided by Life for a Child. Every person with type 1 diabetes is now doing 3 blood tests a day. But we need to know when we are testing blood sugar levels how to adjust the dose of insulin, which is actually a bigger challenge. So this is a SMBG log which each and everyone is doing, and how to use SWIM cards. So the SWIM card looks like this. So it consists of, if you can see the topmost area, it has exchanges. So this is the number of exchanges a particular person is taking. One exchange is equal to 15 grams of carbohydrates. And on the left side, this column, you will see the blood glucose levels. The numbers are from 1 to 324. And it also will have a name of a patient. It will have some mathematical calculations like insulin carb ratio, correction factor, the target of blood glucose level which we want to keep. It looks a little complicated, but it's very easy to use. So how to use a SWIM card, how to adjust a dose of insulin. So this is an example of a SWIM card. For example, if the insulin carb ratio of this particular patient is 1.5, and if the blood glucose level of a patient is 90, okay, and if a patient has taken 2 exchanges of carbohydrates, that is 30 grams, then you have to take this as reference. This is 2 exchanges, and go down and up to here, and you see, so this patient needs 3 units of insulin. SWIM card can be also used without doing blood sugar monitoring. If you see that this particular column has readings from 70 to 108, even if you are not doing your blood glucose monitoring, you can still give dose of insulin. You just have to measure the amount of carbohydrates. SWIM cards can also be used to give correction boluses. Many a times you must have experienced that the patients randomly, if they do a blood sugar test, it comes out to be very high, then now what to do in that situation? So for example, if a patient's blood sugar is 250 and the patient has not taken anything for 2 hours, so we have to take a reference of zero exchanges. Zero exchanges means no food. So for example, 250, we have to see 250 is close to 234. So we have to do the rounding. It cannot be more than this. We have to do the rounding. So we will take 234. This is again example of some carbohydrates which we commonly use here. For example, many people like this, a packet of Maggi, which is equal to 3 exchanges. So when you know what you're eating, say for example, you took a kanda roti in the morning, it is 3 exchanges. And if you go to the swim card and if your blood sugar is 198 and you take 3 exchanges and then give the dose of insulin, you can see it is 0.5, but we can change it. It is changeable. In the next slides, I will show how to make an insulin card. When you're giving a concept of carbohydrates, you also have to tell what are the proteins for which you don't have to give insulin. So these are the proteins for which you don't have to use insulin cards. So how to make a swim card? So if you see it has a name of a patient, you can enter name of patient. You can enter your name, the name of a treating doctor. You will have units per exchange. There is a mathematical calculation. There is a sheet which we can use as per the body weight of a patient. And we don't use this. We don't need these things. This is a swim card that I have made for one patient who's using it. You can put the surname, then you can put the treating doctor's name. You can edit it, okay? And units per exchange, for example, 2 units per exchange. And the correction factor is calculated by 1800 divided by the body weight of the patient. And then this, if you can see this, if above, basically they have kept a strict target. Between 70 to 144, they keep the range of the blood sugar. So it is the midpoint of that. And then the rounding factor. So what have we achieved so far using SWIM? So when we started this program, the mean HbA1c of our clinic was 10.3%. And it has been reduced to 8.1% after 6 months. And the proportion of patients with HbA1c target of 7%, which is recommended by ISPAD, has increased from 15% to 50% in 6 months. And the proportion of patients who had HbA1c of more than 10 at the baseline, it has decreased from 52% to 20%. So it was presented this year in ISPAD Abu Dhabi. We had an abstract presentation there. And thank you. And at last, I want to acknowledge Professor Sharik Masoodi for his support. Professor Bruce King, who was my supervisor at John Hunter Children's Hospital. Dr. Graham Ogle, who is the general manager of Life for a Child program. Last but not the least, the type 1 diabetic people. Without them, this would have not been possible. Because of their inspirations, they have inspired me. And because of them, we have been able to do something. Thank you.